Hey guys, it's your buddy Isaac, and I'm going to ask you a simple question. Is YouTube dying, and why? Well, first off, let's talk about a few things. The answer to the question of is YouTube dying is kind of complicated. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yes and no. I don't think YouTube is going to go away forever. I don't think YouTube is going to vanish into the ether. I do, however, see YouTube losing a lot of its power and influence. And we're already seeing quite a bit of that. From YouTube laying off people, from Mr. Beast posting over to Twitter. Now, of course, there's some salty individuals that want to claim that Mr. Beast is being boosted by Elon Musk, forgetting that he's Mr. Fricking Beast. I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast could practically post a video on the moon and get 100 million views. Okay? It's Mr. Beast. Bro makes 1 million views a video like it's cotton candy, okay? You can't sit there and go, oh, he's just being boosted. It's like, no, sorry. Of course, this is also the same people that are desperate for X, formerly Twitter, to fail no matter what because, well, they're salty that Elon Musk bought it for $44 billion and still haven't gotten over it. So let's talk about this and really think about why is YouTube kind of failing. One of the major issues that YouTube is failing is because of the culture that it engenders. YouTube has stuck very desperately to an ad revenue based business model. This business model has caused all sorts of problems for content creators and YouTube alike. For content creators, it creates a ecology or a form of ecosystem where one has to constantly upload videos in order to remain relevant in the algorithm. The algorithm constantly trying to force the most popular videos into the public view to get that much needed watch time to earn YouTube as much money as possible. Yes, hi kitty. Moonpie gets excited when I start talking, so I was gonna pick him up and say hello, but it's created an environment so bad, effectively, that a good number of YouTube's top talent, I should say, sorry, brain on ADHD mode. Thinks very quickly, but my mouth doesn't always keep up. A lot of YouTube's top talent has ultimately started leaving, if for anything else, because of burnout. This burnout has resulted in people like MatPat leaving. A lot of a very long-term content creator that's been on this platform at least since the early 2000s. People like PewDiePie have stopped uploading a lot as well. And PewDiePie has been one of the biggest channels on this platform for years, matter of fact. I don't wish ill upon these channels. I don't wish ill upon these gentlemen. In fact, I hope them the best. And I hope that they find some peace. If anything, I would say that it's kind of a shame that these creators have been burnt out so thoroughly because of YouTube's own decisions, which is another reason why they're failing entirely. YouTube executives have been making bad management decision after bad management decision over and over again. YouTube's determination to stay with an ad revenue-based business model, despite seeing the very clear and present flaws within that business model, is borderline moronic. Look, when the adpocalypse first happened on YouTube, a lot of YouTubers kind of already saw the writing on the wall. They started putting out merchandise, hats, shirts, hoodies, cups, you name it, because they realized very quickly that ad revenue just wasn't going to be enough. Advertisers were pulling their money back for every excuse under the sun. paying less money into the platform. YouTube then started demonetizing more videos to try and appease these same advertisers. YouTube would also possibly begin to shadow ban and really throw in the censorship that YouTube has become what it is now. This has actually furthered the issues along. Content creators no longer feeling free to be able to make content that they've been known to make, content that draws in their audience, which means that audiences are forced to essentially look for that same content elsewhere. And that could mean a whole number of things, including from alternatives to YouTube, like BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, all, and more recently, even X now, perhaps. This conga line of just bad decisions, of turning on content creators, almost flat out targeting against content creators. For example, I'll show you some screenshots that I've actually had of my own problems here. A video of mine, which got up to 1,800 views and over 400 watch hours, was suddenly knocked back down to 3 views, 3 likes, and 6 comments. It went back up to 74, 200, and then back down to 74. YouTube is not, which shows not only YouTube essentially shadow banning people, but straight up altering the video metrics on their platform, making it that much harder to even grow on the platform. It's hard to trust YouTube at all as to what the reach or even watch time your videos are receiving because of that. YouTube's choices have literally sown this web and ecosystem of distrust and almost outright hatred against the company itself. And they have no one else to blame but themselves. Now, you're probably sitting there and going, well, Isaac, how would YouTube make money on the content creators? And I really find that question an interesting one, and one that's worth asking, because that is another reason why YouTube is failing. They failed to capitalize on their content creators. YouTube's business model with ad revenue is very similar to your studios and network ad revenue style business models. The idea that independent studios create shows that go onto these networks. The networks then sell ad space on those shows and then share a bit of the revenue with the studios. The one step that YouTube is actually missing is that YouTube doesn't merchandise the channels. They don't merchandise the YouTubers. YouTubers are forced to seek outside third-party assistance to create merchandise such as hats, shirts, and the stuff I've mentioned before. And you might ask, well, surely YouTube couldn't make a whole lot of money doing that, could they? Let's explore that thought, shall we? As you can see, as I've Googled up here, YouTube has more than 2.7 billion active monthly users. Now, let's take ourselves to the calculator. So, 1/10 of that, or 10% of that, would be 2,700,000. Cool. Now then, 2,700,000 would be about your top 10% channels. Channels with about, say, 1 million subscribers bare minimum. Now, your average t-shirt cost is about $24.99. Yeah? So, let's say YouTube was to do something interesting. So let's go by quarter, because my example I'm going to use here before we get started goes by quarter. So let's look at YouTube's quarterly revenue, yeah? Oh, that's an ouch. So YouTube, as of quarter 1, 2023, was making $6.693 billion. So $6,693,000,000. Yeah? Cool. All right, so let's say that each of these channels sold 100,000 shirts for 3 months. Relatively easy. A channel, that'd be about 32,500 shirts per quarter, per month, actually. Cool. Yeah? So a nice $2,499 per single channel. Multiply that by our good old buddy, the bare minimum, 6 billion, actually more than that. $6,747,000,000,000. $300 million in gross revenue. Let's say we give 60% of that to YouTubers. That is still a gross revenue of $2,698,920,000,000. One hell of a difference from a mere 6 billion, isn't it? Per quarter. So let's take that for a second, shall we? So YouTube makes this approximately a quarter. So for those of you not familiar with business, a quarter is every 3 months. So let's divide that by 3. YouTube, at best, in quarter 1 of 2023, made $2,231,000,000 a month. Now, that is very pathetic compared to our $2.5 trillion revenue, don't you think? And by the way, that's just shirts. That's just t-shirts. Let's really rub the salt in the wound, shall we? Let's go with hoodies. So a hoodie is about usually $40, right? $3.99, $39.99, okay? Times that by 100,000 for the quarter. Meep. Multiply that by our good old 10% of YouTube channels, yeah. That is a lot of money. Let's say we give 60%. So, with t-shirts and hoodies alone, right? That would be in total, mind you, that is a lot of money. That right there would be, oops, I think we might have did something wrong here. Right? So, we add this, right? Keep thinking I'm getting something wrong. Either way, it's still a crap ton of cash. Like an epic, holy level crap ton of cash. There is no way in the world that YouTube could lose by doing that. Just taking 40% of that revenue. And remember, let's go back through, right? Because remember, for the YouTuber, an individual YouTuber would be making around 3 to 4 million just in hoodies. Selling in 3 months. Just in hoodies. That is actually, I'll take that back. Right? Let's actually go back through here. Okay? We minus 40% for YouTube, right? They would still get $2,399,400 in 3 months. That is currently way more than anybody's making on Teespring. Let me tell you this, Teespring, when you go through their platform, of the shirt total that you get, it's $5. You get $5 a shirt. If YouTube did this, they would have no problem in getting YouTubers to go through them to get their merch done. None at all. That should astonish people. The sheer amount of money that YouTube has essentially just left on the table, has refused to even fathom or think about touching or making for themselves, should make you sick. All the attacks on content creators, all the attacks on all of this makes no business sense when we see what I've just showed you here. YouTube literally barely makes $2 billion a quarter. By the way, shoot, $6 billion? You're barely, if that stayed true for all 3 quarters, you'd barely look at maybe 22 billion. Actually, I take that back. 24 billion and some change there, okay? It's still nothing compared to the trillions YouTube has essentially just left on the ground. And in part because they're choosing, quite frankly, politics, censorship, and nepotism over money. There is no reason to not support content creators in the way that I just showed. If YouTube ran the shops for the content creators, actually made the shirts, took a 40% service fee or whatever, that's how much they'd make in gross income. More than enough to cover their costs, more profit than they are currently getting But yet, not only have they doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down, they have quintupled down on an ad-based revenue business system, which has allowed them to be manipulated by corporations like Disney and Ubisoft and basically corporations all across the country and around the world. YouTube could be making globally trillions of dollars, yet they have chosen not to. Which makes the layoffs hard for me to personally feel like I should be feeling bad for these people. They've made this choice. You cannot make a bad choice and then have me feel bad for you. I'm sorry. Now, who knows? Maybe Elon Musk or Rumble or anybody else might actually pick up on this and do exactly that. And if they do, YouTube's done. It's game over. What is YouTube going to do to that? How is YouTube going to compete against that? They're not. YouTube could have focused on their own individual creators, could have capitalized on these creators, and would have been perfectly capable to tell the busybodies to go have fun with themselves and have made plenty of cash. YouTubers would be able to continue to make content without having to feel like they're being pressured or rushed, as they're being supported by their individual audience. There would be no worry, no conception of worrying about whether individual content creators having to worry about whether they're going to make ends meet today because the ad revenue has gone bottomed out. And you could still have some ad-based revenue to kind of help even things out. But if they had done what pretty much most other studios do, which is go the route of adding merchandise, it would have been fine. And YouTube and Google already have a ready-made ability to make merchandise. Google has a manufacturing wing. They can make t-shirts. They can make laptop skins and phone skins that they could easily negotiate and work with content creators to make specialized skins for this stuff for their fans, and the fans would buy them because they want to support their content creators. YouTube needs to get their crap together. If they don't, they're going to end up just like Netflix, just like cable television. One cannot choose corrupt nepotism, politics, and censorship over their ability to keep their business running and expect nothing to happen. This has been your buddy Isaac. I hope this helps answer the question, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone, and take care.